practicing some of the time during the summertime, turning to working most of the time now seems like all of the time. Time went on, then practice turned to skill to superpower. Now I'm imposing my will. Whatever I want to do, you know I'm gonna do it. I've done it before, now I'm doing away with it. Don't play with it, it is serious. Joker, sapsucker, hocus pocus. Don't substitute for focus. Forward focus, after forward focus, after forward focus. Repetitive focus. Henry Ford's assembly line, bifocals. You should have seen that coming, but you never seen it before. Eyes wide open, I see your soul. Fire, burning slow. Shall it grow? H's motivation is oxygen. If I'm breathing, I've got to win. Even in loss, top or bottom, I know I got 'em. How I know? I seen it before. I was in Kentucky, Pops was rock bottom. Fresh out of jail, had no bail. Now it's summertime again. 2 years later, we slide the sunroof back to let the sun shine in. Now we riding Sadies, listening to Sadie. Sade, the back window shade comes up automatic. Who knows what's next? Maybe a different scene, but I'll still be acting.
The questions I get a lot sound like, what's your name? H. That's it? Just a letter? Is that short for heroin? Henry? Harry? Hogwarts? He, she? And I sort of go, ha. But really, H represents another ideal. There are two parts, one mental and the other physical. And we'll start there, because that's where it started first. And so, in a few days before I recognized the revelation of H, I decided to observe my personal behavior, the way I walked, how I talked. The most distinct behavior I remember happened at work. At work, there's a heavy metal door at the back of the building. Oftentimes, one person is entering and the other exiting, and what happens is because you can't see if another person is coming in or out, somebody gets hit with the door. So what I noticed when I entered or made an exit was myself bracing for contact as I opened the door. How does this relate to H? Physically, H involves fulfilling the characteristics of the alphabet H. The first noticeable characteristic is the sound H makes. Huh. Huh. The pronunciation of the letter H is an intimate sound. If you could imagine the form that it makes, you can see that opposed to P for P, or D for D, or even F for F, where those letters sounds initiate contact or impress their own way, H embraces the contact, lets it be what it is, before it defends its own ground. You could also find this behavior in some forms of combat, like Jeet Kune Do, where your reaction to the opposition is based on the opposition. As the designer of Jeet Kune Do encourages us, be like water, my friend. Now, I told you I was observing my behavior before I recognized the revelation of H. Let me explain what I mean. It was the summer 2012. I was taking summer class Math 106. This wasn't my first, second, nor third time taking this course. It was my fourth. For some reason, there was a different challenge every time preventing me from passing it. However, the fourth time I took it, I learned more than mathematics. It changed my life. The particular lesson was derivatives. Professor Bedrosian was explaining to us what it was and how to find it. What we were actually solving for was the rate of change. The rate of change is the same as the slope. On a graph, when you have one point and you draw a line to connect it to the next point, in addition to finding the distance between the set of points, you also get a visual of where the line is coming from. Dr. Bedrosian showed us 3 ways to define the rate of change. The first method was numerically, and we used the difference quotient. The main component of the difference quotient is the variable h. That was the longest way of the 3 methods. The second method was algebraically. We took a different route to find the rate of change, but it was still many steps. And right there I thought to myself, these are the ways people solve problems all over the world. Based on where a person lives or their upbringing, they solve situations in these type of ways. Like the first two ways, either it takes them a long time to figure out the solution to their trouble, or either because it takes so long, they never figure it out. It's like the age-old question, is the glass half full or half empty? For the third method, we used the derivative function. We took the derivative of the equation and defined the rate of change in one step. Keep in mind, the rate of change tells us where the line is coming from. I decided the third method is how we should reach understanding of situations and solve problems. Wow. We can use a mathematical technique to solve non-numerical realities? Yes. Taking the derivative of a function is equivalent to recognizing our understanding or understanding the concept of a situation. By concept I mean ideal, the absolute true meaning or purpose. Here's the key. When you see situations conceptually, when you strip away what you see, the surface level, you see the concept. And seeing on a conceptual level allows you to see similarities. And when you recognize the similarities, you will realize one situation, though totally different from another, will have the same solution. Thus, nothing acts differently than anything else. So now we look at the glass, whether a drink is being poured and it's half full or being drank and it's half empty, we can recognize the similarity is that the drink is at the half point in both situations. This similarity allows us to see the same solution can be applied to these unique perspectives. We can fill or empty the half full or half empty cup the same way. So what am I saying? I'm not saying anything. What are you hearing? If you're hearing it, it's only because you're hearing it, not because I'm saying it. Would you like me to show you what I'm saying?
Yes, I will be so kind to leave a message. I'm so grateful to have a son like you and my many other sons, and how God has blessed me with the blessed firstborn, and in the right arm of his sibling, Mr. Travis. And he was given that green shirt. I wanted to tell you, it was like walking money, like the rain coming down on the green grass. But anyway, there is going to be some pizza, and I'll fix you a plate. I love you. I'm proud of you. Bye.
First the clouds left, then the drought came. Bills stacked higher, family got tighter. House got smaller, dreams got bigger. I'm the firstborn, gotta be a leader. Siblings doing wrong, then I gotta teach them. Act like they don't wanna listen, I pray I can teach them. Mama say, mama sigh, mama kusa. I'ma save, I'ma strive and do it I got to. On the day that I die, I ain't thinking about that. One day I'ma die, I ain't thinking about that. Ever since I was born, I ain't never looked back. I got in where I fit in, I stuck out through the crack. And I'm breaking through the wall, if I'm faking the ball. Shot calling, woo, Rick blaring, it's scary. I'm on an incline, picking berries, plucking apples, squishing grapes, enjoying the fruits of my labor. Mama called and told me there's food on the table.
Let me tell you something, young blood. When I got off work, I went to work. When I finished that, I started something else. For as many breaths I take, I'm advancing. And don't you sit down until you're in good standing. So now we understand my sense of urgency, part of my motivation, the plot of the grandeur scheme I'm undertaking. But I also understand Rome wasn't built in a day, and that rather than concern myself with the building and building the biggest, baddest brick wall known to man, I should focus on laying one brick as perfect as I could. The first situation I applied H2 was a bench. This was the first brick I laid. I was conversing with a coworker at the world-famous Central Barbecue when I got the idea that we should put Memphis Grizzly advertising on our to-go bench. The concept was simple. The customers wait on the to-go bench for their to-go orders. The Grizzlies wait on the bench to be called into the game. I consulted my professor, Roger Eason, about the project, and he suggested I contact the Grizzlies to sponsor the idea. Then on the way to school one morning, I spot the Grizz promotions team at the Sam Cooper and East Parkway intersection, so I pull over to mention my idea. They put me in contact with the lady in charge, but long story short, they didn't sponsor the deal. So I pack my bags, tail between my legs, and throw my plans away? No, not me. We don't do that in Memphis. I knew I had to do it myself, and I had no problem with that. I had to share my vision. So I use my skill I learned that semester and I write a fundraising letter for the bench. The thing is though, I never got to show it to anybody. I told the Central Barbecue owner, Craig Blondis, about the idea and he didn't even want to read it. He gave me the green light right then and there. So I go about the city and I find an artist to produce the design I had in mind, and I work with some marketing buddies from school to come up with a slogan for the bench. 5 seconds later, I got an artist, big ups to my fellow Pharaoh, Raliko Gelante, and a slogan, which is fitting for both a sports team and a restaurant. Victory was sweet. Craig even reimbursed me for what I spent, and so many people were surprised and immediately inspired by it, and that inspired me. I pursued that one dream, laid that one brick, as best I could. I was on my way to building that brick wall. But I had to stay hungry. And in Memphis, that's what we do. How can you take aim if you don't have direction? You need a vision. Yeah, you need that. I'm relaxed and poised to take over the world more. Audemars wasted won't make it on my world tour. Complacence not adjacent to my acquaintance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of United States of mine. No, he didn't say he was ready to take over the world. The proof's in the banana pudding. He did what they said he could, and if they said he couldn't, he'd still do it. Hard as wood, not on his head from Hollywood. He can't role play, too busy playing the role of a Renaissance man. Better's the goal. You should know about the old saying, good things come to those. Thanks for waiting, the time has come. Sometime later I walked into the weight room and on the wall, somebody left their prescription taped to it. It looked like a soccer workout. I was so awestruck by the idea I got, I didn't even work out. The workout on the wall reminded me of posters and pictures on the walls of gyms used as motivation, like in the movies, and I was off. I spoke to this person and they led me to this person, and finally the person I needed to speak with, may he rest in peace now, was the legend, the athletic director of Christian Brothers University, Joe Natickburn. I was so nervous when I went to meet with him, but I was prepared. For example, I knew for an idea of this scale, I would need the student body to be interested. So before I met with Mr. Natickburn, I went around collecting interest from the students. I told them first about the recent improvements to the weight room and then what I had in mind. By the time of the meeting, the paper I had the students sign had so many signatures on it you couldn't even tell how many people signed it. Fast forward to the meeting, and I explained to Mr. Natickburn my idea. He said it sounded good, but we needed to see what the students thought of it. Then I pulled out my signature field request. The deal was made. I told him I would be back to his office as soon as I finished the model I designed. When I brought the model to him later, he was ready. He told me, go ahead, put it up. I'd like to see that on the wall. This time, I didn't receive any financial support, but it wasn't about that. I believed in my vision so much, and already so many people wanted to see it. I spent the little money I saved from my income tax, remembering what my dad told me, pennies in a pile make dollars after a while. Bought my materials and went to work. Every day after feeding the people at Central Barbecue, I went down to the art room at school and chiseled away. 5 seconds later, it was done. I remember it was almost midnight, and I finished in time to enjoy the last 10 minutes of CBU's traditionally wild couch party Sofa-Palooza, a small reward. Now when I put the project on the wall, nothing was the same. The school's library donated 2 years' worth of sports magazines so I could select the images I wanted. I was so thankful, and I am so thankful for that. Otherwise, I would have spent a lot of money on printing. Even when I did have to print some photos, the print shop helped me out too. The back wall is Julius Caesar. Veni, vidi, vici. I came, I saw, I conquered. The side wall is my favorite word, victory. When the students or faculty came to lift weights, I wanted my work to inspire and add to the supposed intensity a weight room generates. Musical inspiration already existed. My art was to serve as a visual reminder of where the lifter wants to be and what they want to physically achieve. So every picture I cut out induces a raw, ruthless, brutal, and electrifying emotion. And that's exactly what people told me they got from it. Natick Burns said it was impressive, and the big guy on campus, President Smorelli, was even moved by it. I encountered a lot of obstacles along the way. Not being a math major, it was a fun challenge figuring out the measurements myself, and figuring out how to manage my finances to support the project was an even more daunting challenge. But this project taught me how to win. I thought it, planned, prepared, adjusted, and conquered. I had laid the second brick. I'm from Memphis, and that's what we do. Get in the gym. That's the moral of the story. Double dutch. Gotta get in on this. Success is my mistress. She take the stress away, weight off my chest. I sleep with her, dream about her. In the morning, I don't leave without her. You don't see me without her, forget about it. You can't have my girl, don't even think about it. If she want a divorce, I gotta leave my body. How could I fall and fail and fall yet still? She looks so compelling, must have fell straight from heaven. Heaven sent the smell of success. All her breasts, I just love her bosom. If you pay the price, she might give you a peek. Once I had a taste of 8 sweets for a week. Wrote an article for Memphis people to read. Built a pyramid for Memphis people to see. Passed it out in the cold, they had to listen to me. Ain't gotta take it from me, somebody already told you. It's just funny to see the faces when it's over. 10 fingers, an ace, a jack, a king, a queen. Under my nose, I smell like success, don't fold.
Taking pictures of us?
Just recording all y'all.
Go Grizz. You need to rap a little bit. Grizz.
What's going on?
Actually, if you want to see a real show, you come to karaoke afterwards.
I mentioned earlier H is about seeing on a conceptual level, and this allows you to see similarities. And noticing similarities, you come to understand that nothing acts differently than anything else. Once more, I proceed to lay another brick. During my internship with the Mississippi River Kings, I mentioned the similarity I noticed between Memphis and Egypt to my intern friend, and it blew him away. He said he'd never heard what I told him before. I told my intern friend I wanted to have it published in the paper, but I didn't have anyone to write it. I had never written a news article before, and I had no connection to any of the newspapers in Memphis. He told me, "Why don't you write it yourself?" Like I said, I didn't know anyone to give the article to which is one reason I didn't want to write by myself, and I wanted my article to reach the masses. That was the dilemma. But I'm from Memphis. I wrote the article the next day, and I used cardboard boxes from work and old newspapers from my school's library to build a pyramid to go along with the article. In the article, I explained the Egyptian heritage our city has with the name Memphis. I also coined Memphis as the land of pharaohs. I shed light on the fact that Memphis is home to Elvis, the king of rock and roll. I didn't put this in the article, but Michael Jackson, king of pop, married the king of rock and roll's daughter. Also, B.B. King, king of the blues, ruler of Beale Street. But seemingly ever since the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr., right here in Memphis, Tennessee, the city has been known more for bad than good, and it has taken a toll on the people. I found it ironic, and I reveal in the article that the name Memphis means the good place. So I mix all of these ingredients with the current innovation taking place in Memphis, and I make a little energizing snack. A quick positive read to remind and inspire anyone who reads it or hears about what it's all about. The return. Oh, and I didn't meet with the executive editor of Tri-State Defender newspaper, but it got to the executive editor of the Tri-State Defender newspaper. Engineering my pyramid to be wind resistant was a huge challenge to overcome. I did it. Passing my article out in the cold to people that I don't know and who don't know me was a huge challenge to overcome. I did it. Sometimes I wonder, how do I get out of this situation? But I realized a once-in-a-lifetime situation don't come by often. You gotta make them. Turn your doubts, turn your fears into shouts. Turn your tears into Gatorade. Make a way. You got the will. You can do it. And especially in Memphis, that's what we do.
Brothers out here, Kindles on the ones and twos.
J Mars on the. It's a what did you on the drum line say? It's a tooth thing.
It's a tooth thing. Yeah, man, out here with my brothers, man, just 10, you know how we stick together.
It's our city, man.
It's our city. We are our, not us three. Our. I'm talking about the 600 or the 850,000 people that live here. FedEx Forum. FedEx Forum. Oh, the news crew is supposed to be here tonight. I didn't see the news crew because I wanted to tell the news crew something. Memphis. I want to give props to Robert Pera, the new owner of the Memphis Grizzlies. I think Memphis should be very appreciative. I know we are, I know I am, to have an owner like him to bring spotlight to Memphis. On Twitter, he challenged Michael Jordan to $1 million charity game. Yeah. Michael Jordan didn't want to take it serious because he's Michael Jordan. But I like his guts. I like Robert Pera's guts. And I want to bet Robert Pera, if he still has that $1 million, I want to bet him that I have an idea for the FedEx Forum that'll make the heavens scream about the Grizzlies, the Memphis Grizzlies. I have an idea. I bet Robert Pera that $1 million that he had on Jordan to put it on me, that the idea that I have and would like to share with him for the FedEx Forum will make the heavens scream about the Memphis Grizzlies. Word is bond. I know his word was real when he was talking about playing Mike. My word is real about betting him about this, that my idea can't do that. I love Memphis. I love Memphis. Now, Memphis has a lot of potential. We're out here tonight spreading a positive message. Spreading a positive message to the city. Because the entire world, the entire state, the entire region, the entire country, the entire continent, the entire other part of the world is gonna know what Memphis is. The plan is, when they want to get something, let's say, let's get it from Memphis. It's kind of like college. good, you come from a certain college, certain businesses, certain companies want students from that certain college. All right, Memphis, Tennessee is about to become a certain place. And when people ask for a certain thing, they're going to want it from this certain place. And we are certain that this place is called Memphis, Tennessee. If you didn't see it, I know you're going to hear about it. If you don't hear about it, I know it's going to touch you.
You gotta hit him with that sweet tea.
Top season. And we know what else we're going to call it. Do the right thing. Also, hold on. I need to go to my limo.
P, product, O of, M, Memphis, Roman numeral 10, Tennessee. Product of Memphis, Tennessee is an inclusive rather than exclusive logo. POMX is a logo, but it gives the inhabitants of a city much more than a team or company to be proud of. Because POMX doesn't belong to a team, like the B for the Boston Red Sox or the Yankees logo for New York, it makes the residents proud of themselves. Surely they will make sure it is something to be proud of if they are wearing it. Any person, business, school, profit or nonprofit organization that is Memphis bred can use the logo for direct recognition to Memphis. As Memphis grows, POMX grows, and any person or organization repping POMX will have an advantage over those not repping. Not just in the city, but the nation and worldwide, because they will recognize immediately the POMX. Like a stamp of quality. To this day, the world wonders and marvels at the pyramids the Egyptians built. Many built a pyramid, and it has lasted many years. Let's build a pyramid together, showing ourselves, each other, and the world what being a product of Memphis 10 is all about.
Once more with feeling.
When I heard him say it, my plan was a 10, man. I put my heart in it, put on some champion throughout my starter gear. A year had passed and I was still in the hay, looking for that needle. I might find it today. Hey, look, I found it today. That perseverance paid off. Adolf, I'm high five in the sky. Just living's a lie. I must thrive. I'll be high, but I won't behave it. I'm milking the honey until I'm stuck in the gravy. Was drowning, didn't look for the Navy to save me. I'm brave, but I'm more courageous. You feel what I'm saying? Now the needle keeps poking me, and success is in the air I breathe. The search was important to me. If you haven't found it, keep searching. I'm back at it again. Guess what I put out the hat? A jackrabbit again. Get, hop, back, 2 steps. Get with it, get lost, take losses as wins. When I win, I feel I'm champion. So much beating on my chest, it's caving in. Birds eating up my chest, I'm razoring. I ain't watching 3D watching me. I ain't matching, I just matching by H is the signage. People read it, it's all extra. H is a texture.